Yay me, see I told you, I reconfigured things and it all's gone completely belly up. Right, I'll start that again. Welcome to Star Trek Adventures Damocles, where four idiots, and I include myself in this one, completely mangled the rule system by Modiphius and just fuck things up on a royally intergalactic scale. Today's going to be a different one. We're going to be going back, sort of, to the mirror universe. And not just back to the mirror universe, we're also going to be going back in time about a year or so before the in-game time, before the campaign officially started. And if you've been following the plotline, you can pretty much guess what's about to happen. So this is going to be not so much a montage, but the equivalent of a clip show, where rather than concentrating on everything in detail, it's just going to be covering the more sort of important segments. So there'll be a lot of, right, I'm going to skip forward a few weeks, a couple of months, that kind of thing. Right, let me just make sure everything that's there. Okay, that's good. Alright, this is where I'm blind myself because my notes is on this page.
Oh, we do need real dice today. Damn it.
Let me just see if this works. I'm just adjusting my...
Shouldn't Tolek have the same stats as
yeah, it'll be the same stats.
Attributes and skills?
Yeah,
it should, but I... True.
There we go. That's better.
That makes sense. I think he does.
Fortunately, everything has gone completely belly up in terms of technology today. So I'm just going to make sure everything is there. The cat's going there. Brilliant. That's there. Okay. So let's begin. This episode is called "The Beginning." Approximately a year ago, in the current timeline, we're in the mirror universe. On board the ISS Khan's Wrath, a ship that, by one of those weird intergalactic even, or multiversal coincidences, bears an uncanny resemblance to the Damocles. There are obviously differences, namely it doesn't have the multi-vector assault mode, but it does have a few more interesting bits of technology, specifically interrogation room, assimilation chambers, hollow emitters that act as agony fields, and so on and so forth. In this version of the Mirror Universe, there are three great powers. The New Empire, which took over from the Terran Empire, which in turn was the Klingon Cardassian Alliance, took complete control of them. There is the Borg Collective, and there is the Dominion. These three superpowers have come to what can best be described as an accord, a peaceful treaty, realising that, for all intents and purposes, they have hit a limit to what they can do in this universe. This universe. During a test of a Borg-style weapon, a wormhole was accidentally opened. This wormhole was red, best way to describe it, but had other properties which have been revealed over the past year. The Empress of the Empire, her favoured crew, the Khan's Wrath, is in a briefing. Now, being the Empress, she doesn't appear in person, but she does like speaking directly to her crew. And as such, we're going to cut to the bridge of the Khan's Wrath, which basically is the same bridge as the Damocles, just a little bit darker, a little bit more moody, for obvious reasons. On the bridge, there is the crew. In his chair, Captain Davrin Jan. At the science monitoring station, Tonic. Pacing around the bridge, at the back, keeping a watchful eye on everybody. Somebody who is pretty much feared by everybody on the ship. Some call her Inquisitor, others just simply call her Oh Fuck. So, Captain Jan. Has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? As the Empress smiles from the view screen down upon the crew.
I rather enjoyed my Empress.
Yes, that extra pip really does suit you. It just takes a swig. And Todek, the new, what was it they called it? The interrogation room. I take it that is pleasing to you?
Extremely so, Empress. Thank you.
Excellent. I do like reading your reports. So detailed. And my Inquisitor herself. The crew are behaving admirably, I hope.
They certainly are motivated.
Oh, that's very good to know, because, you see, now that those pleasantries are out the way, I'm here to tell you about your new mission. This is going to be, well, I think it's going to be challenging, but it's something I think you will all rise to and enjoy. Now, you remember a few weeks ago that Borg weapon that we tested? It seemed to puncture a hole in reality, didn't it? Well, we've sent a few probes and a few ships through to see what happens, and it turns out there is something on the other side. A whole new galaxy just waiting to be conquered. As she's saying that, there is a fire and a passion in her eyes, as if she's like, I wish I was there. Unfortunately, I can't be with you. Matters of state and keeping our new allies at bay is something that, well, does occupy a lot of my time. But this new universe, this will be mine. But unfortunately, our allies have also somehow She looks off screen to someone as if to say, Unfortunately, our new allies have found out about this wormhole as well, and this expedition that I'm sending you on. And as such, they want to be sending along 2 of their representatives. And in the manner of peace and keeping them quiet, they have agreed. They should be arriving any minute now. As on cue, 2 beams of transporter energy start to materialise on both sides of the bridge. One, approximately four figures in a purplish beam haze. 2 Jem'Hadar, 1 Volta, and a smooth-skinned being that you recognise as a founder. The other, dark green, materialises. A figure you thought you wouldn't see or hadn't seen for a long time, but it's been completely changed. In front of you, covered in a black metallic armour, is your former captain, but as a Borg.
I missed that sound cut out.
Oh, sorry. The other figure was basically the previous captain, aka Captain Prua, but having been assimilated.
It's a pleasure to see you again, Prua.
You may address me as 1 of 5, as that is my designation. And he just looks at you.
He makes a fine drone, doesn't he?
Much more suited to his capabilities.
Mm.
It is.
Every time Davrin speaks, 5 just looks at him. And although it's not something you see often in the Borg, there is hatred in this Borg's eyes towards Davrin.
Apparently he can't even do droning right. Salty as fuck.
There's a slight twitch as if he goes to move, but then there's a... The Empress herself speaks again. I see you've seen who our little guest is. It's like turns to address the smooth-skinned creature. Founder, I see you have arrived safely. Creature nods. I think you'll find that the ship will be to your liking. And she sort of points to a random crew member. You, me, yes, Empress. Yes, would you show our new guests to their quarters? That'd be lovely. Yeah, yes, Empress. He gets up and sort of indicates, it's like including the Borg. Yes, and just slowly saunters out. They go.
My dear guest, if he offends you in any way, just let me know.
I think we can handle the Borg. Just saunters out.
That was a remark more about the security, about the officer who was leading them away.
He just sort of like doesn't like, thank you, Mum, and just carries on walking out. We're in seconds. They're gone. Good. Tira, keep a very close eye on them, especially that founder. I do not trust them as far as I can throw them.
Would it be very saddening to you if some accidents would happen?
I put this to you, Tira. From my reports, the journey through what my scientists have called the red wormhole is supposed to be, well, accidents do occur. So if something was to happen, crossing over into another universe through an unstable wormhole, things may happen.
And that would make us very sad. I understand, Your Highness.
Indeed it would. It would be a tragic loss of life. But if something was to happen, especially to that Borg as well, and as she says that, her attention turns to Tolek, I'm pretty sure there are parts of him that could be salvaged. I'm sure the Borg haven't learned to
Empress.
I'm sure the Borg haven't learned to communicate across universes just yet. So, that was part one. Gonna shift forward a few days. The Borg has set up a little. Well, it's basically a spare set of quarters. What could best be described as a mini assimilation chamber. The Dominion representatives have been walking around the ship, acting like they own it. But what have you lot been doing on your journey to the red wormhole? Let's start with Davrin.
Davrin has been a most gracious host to all but one of our guests. But to be honest, most of what Davrin has been doing has been private thoughts. To be honest, there's potential in moving to another universe beyond what the Empress wants, and that's occupying his thoughts.
Excellent. So you should catch this.
Beyond that, he's just doing his normal captainly duties, which now include the diplomatic duties.
Okay, well, fine. You sit on my notes, right? Okay. Tolek, what about yourself?
Well, Tolek has gotten enough interaction with our guests to get some DNA samples and has been working on ways to induce a medical emergency in them.
Oh, okay. Let's see how successful that might have been. Let's start things off with a nice dice roll to get things going and generate some momentum. Stop, no, you're sitting on my chart. Okay, so this is definitely going to be I think it's going to be a science and insights.
Okay.
A difficulty of 2 for this one, because it's obviously you can't sort of grab them and stick them in your.
Well, no, no.
Well, not yet anyway.
Yes, but I do believe my foci apply.
I was in biology. Oh, definitely. Yes, so that'll knock it down to all.
I mean, virology, infectious diseases, xenobiology.
Oh, xenobiology would definitely be the.
It's like take your pick.
I mean, technically, xenobiology would apply to anything that's not Vulcan.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, whilst you don't exactly get what you would call quality samples, you get enough to keep you occupied on the short journey through what they are referring to as Dominion space, and to what is being referred to as Site 1. Tira.
I am planning some accidents because I understood my orders very well. And I mean, especially if we fly through the wormhole, there could be some hull breaches that accidentally happen near a certain shape-shifting aliens and their guard.
Okay. So this is going to be. I'm sorry. I'm trying to read through a cat here. I'm going to say.
Dance of kittens.
Yeah, this is the ship's cat. She goes everywhere. I'm going to say this is probably going to be security and. I'm going to say reason, because you're kind of creating a battle plan for.
Good thing that I increased my reason.
Yes.
Does my focus and terroristic warfare help?
I suppose it's kind of, because you're trying to sort of make it look like an accident, rather than, accidentally, a knife goes into the vaulter's spine or something. So.
I mean, accidents happen.
Exactly. Indeed. See, accidents do happen.
I just happened to be carrying this massive Bowie knife, and I slipped, and
Very nice. So yeah, you get one momentum. Yeah, Yes, I don't understand it. He accidentally slipped onto the captain's knife multiple times.
No, he just slipped on the T. You all know that.
So, the journey to the red wormhole is.
Can I add an action, Chris?
You can.
Because it's just occurred to me that really, wormholes are kind of Davrin's thing.
Yeah.
So,
Sure.
I was thinking he would be doing his own research and calculations on the wormhole, and trying to figure out the safe way through and so on.
Yeah. Okay. This will be. I'm going to say science and insight, because you're trying to sort of go off. Normally it'd be a 2, but with your specialities, that's going to drop it down to a 1.
Okay.
Yes, I know. Okay. Now, you do realise that, although
I've created the potential for an accident in that 0. I'll have you know.
You have. That's the
by
thing.
design.
However, you don't. You know that from the reports that you've seen, flying through this wormhole isn't going to be pleasant. You're pretty much going to end up killing some of the crew.
Fantastic.
But the good thing is, you believe, based on. What are you doing? You believe that, based on the data you found, there are. Stop it! There are certain areas of the ship that you can, shall we say, protect.
Like my quarters, for example.
Like say the quarters or the bridge, or the shields. If they just, if you weaken the shields in certain areas on the ship, the weird and funky radiation this wormhole is pumping out might have an adverse effect on certain organic life forms.
Right. Okay. So I'll be trying to figure out how many areas we can shield.
I would say probably. Don't you dare.
And then deciding a non-essential crew.
You can basically protect about 4 areas on the ship. It's still not going to be a pleasant journey, but it will protect, shall we say, organic accidents from occurring.
Please don't destroy my whole breach plan.
Yes. Okay. Now,
Well, I'll tell you what. If you share that plan with me, I won't destroy it.
yeah.
I think that counts as bad talk, pillow talk between Davin and Tira.
So, you could say that there was a private meeting between the captain and his security officer. This is something that could easily be done in the journey, because there's enough time.
Yeah. So I want to, in order that we can perhaps even have a few of them die off just from the strange effects of the wormhole, I want to do my best to sort of shield the areas secretly and get as many of the crew aware of where they need to be.
No, stop attacking that.
Without our guests being any of
Bless you.
Sorry.
That's yeah.
She's no longer sitting on my reference sheet. Thank you.
I also want to hunt for the tribble that's got onto our ship.
Oh, she's just got off the desk now.
Damn it, she's in the vents.
Oh yeah, that is pretty much what's happened. Okay,
Get
so
the flamethrowers out.
I'm just trying to think, because this will probably be either security or engineering on this one. I'm gonna say this is probably going to be security, actually, but I will allow Tira to assist.
Okay.
So, wait a minute.
Is it?
Tira, you roll
Yeah.
first. If you succeed, then
Security. And
this is going to be security and insight. And if on a 1, on a 1, if you succeed, then basically Davrin will get a bonus to the dice roll.
so
or
just
the
one,
normal complication.
just one die roll.
Just one. Yeah. This is a little bit different than normal, so.
Hey.
Yeah. So with Tira's input, you believe you've got some good insight. So that has basically, on the next roll that you make, any complications will be ignored.
Okay, that's how handy.
Yes.
So
But if Tira had failed,
I have a focus of scheming.
oh, this will definitely come under scheming. This will
so
definitely come under scheming.
Really?
Boom.
Boom. Yeah. As far as you can tell, this plan, barring random acts of chaos, this is going to work. You pretty much identified the various areas on the ship, and unless somebody knows exactly what they're looking for, any records will make it look like an accident, like the shields may have failed in these particular areas and not in others. Weird coincidence.
I think something that Tira will probably talk with Devon about is, but what would be better, serving in this universe or ruling in another universe?
Well, Davrin isn't entirely sure how far he can trust the Empress's Inquisitor, so he'd probably be being a bit cagey about that.
Paranoia is the word of the day.
Yeah, that's mirror universe politics for you.
Pretty much.
Yeah, paranoia and scheming.
He would be towing the line between showing, oh yes, it would be pretty nice to rule in another universe, without actually committing himself necessarily to.
I can imagine sort of like thrown in random in the Empress's name, of course.
Yeah. Wink.
Yeah, just sort of keep, because she has eyes everywhere.
An antenna twitch.
The wormhole approaches. It is ugly. It's, to use the metaphor I did last time, if the Bajoran wormhole is grace and beauty, this is a wound in the fabric of reality. This is dark, this is red, this is almost pulsating. But it's big enough that a ship like the the Khan's Rough can easily get through. Helm brings you to a safe point away from this tear in realities. Awaiting your orders, Captain.
Right, so Davrin will have set up a private channel as part of his scheme.
Okay.
So he will first notify our guests in their guest quarters
Yes.
that we are about to head through the wormhole, and then on the private channel he'll tell the crew to scatter to the safe areas.
Nice.
And then Helm, full speed ahead.
You get a very short, curt reply back from 1 of 5. Acknowledged. Then from the Dominion representation, you hear, the Founder thanks you for this opportunity. When we will contact you again once we cross over. Safe journeys. And the comlink closes. Slowly, the Khan's Wrath edges towards the wormhole. Within a matter of moments, it crosses the threshold, and the ship is rocketed with arcs of dark red blood energy lancing the ship, striking the nacelles. Even through the modified shielding that Davrin has created, you are all starting to feel nausea, queasiness. It's Tonic, you're, even for Vulcan in the Mirror Universe, this is really starting to drain your emotional barriers. It's in the distance, a couple of decks below, you think you can hear a few screams, which are cut short. The ship's damage panel is starting to light up. The warp engines are going offline. The impulse engines are straining. But eventually, with what can only be described as an almost primal scream, the ship tears itself from the other end of the wormhole and arrives in a calm space in orbit around a unassuming planet.
Right. So
Did the hull breaches work?
There, looking at your damage panel on the Khan's Wrath, you see there have been a couple of hull breaches. Nothing big. One just happens to have been over the Vorta's quarters. Unfortunately, not the Founders. But the Vorta and the Jem'Hadar are, well, the best way to describe this now, paste. The rest of the ship is damaged, but repairable. Captain, I'm detecting life forms on this planet down below us.
are we getting signs of advanced society power?
Yeah, I'm detecting power, but no. Well, they've got warp vessels, sir. I think they can only probably do the equivalent of warp 3. They're very simple. It looks almost like in fact, I believe it's a colony of some kind, sir.
Am I on the bridge as well, or?
I believe.
I can only protect 4 areas, so you probably.
Yeah, I think there's a very good chance Tonic is still on the bridge. Yeah.
Captain, may I request one of these life forms for study?
I do believe that would be most wise.
Also, go ahead.
Maybe Executioner Tira can assist in the gathering of information.
Yeah, besides, we should need a workforce helping us with the reparations.
So, as I say, we're going to do a little skipping forward. So we're going to just skip forward now to one of the creatures that Tolic has acquired. We're going to cut to his lab, and there's a creature in this which looks sort of almost like well, the best way to describe it would be he looks a bit like that. If you're in Roll20, a sort of humanoid-esque, borderline orangutan-like creature, but not exactly. But that's a sort of a close approximation. And he's in the sort of looking around, sort of gently poking at things. If anything, you think he's a bit simple, if anything else. Starts poking at. Start poking at things. Like,
And
resume that looking again.
I think they didn't brought us a higher life form.
I am uncertain, to be quite honest, but
Is it
maybe
closed?
we can stimulate a reaction. Is there any way Toda can send an electric shock in there?
Oh, easily. The whole ship is equipped with agony fields.
We've got hundreds of ways of achieving electric.
It's
Well, yes, but
on
in
the
a
Khan's
milligram
Wrath.
way with the push of a button.
Oh yeah, I mean on the Khan's Wrath, the the hollow emitters have been reconfigured to basically. Normally, a hollow emitter wouldn't cause pain.
Mm-hmm.
But why would you want to have something that can cause pain and not cause pain? Yeah.
I mean, why would we invent any device if it didn't have pain in the name?
Exactly. You can always imagine there's a couple of engineers walking past it discussing this. It's this very thing.
Pain is fun. Pain is liberating.
Exactly.
Pain brings out the truth.
Todek will then administer.
So, the creature in front of you screams out in agony, its muscles locking. It's like, no, don't do this.
You can talk.
Of course I can talk. Just don't like doing so. Stop.
Todek will wait for 2 more seconds and then release.
It just drops to the ground. It's like, you are this. You are a demon.
I like that word.
I find the belief in supernatural evil entities to be antiquated when we have people like us around.
Where did you come from? This ship seems... I've heard stories of... Wait. You're not from the Federation, are you?
Tell us about this federation.
Over the next few hours, with, I imagine, Davrin popping in every now and then to sort of admire what's going on, Tira keeping a close eye on things, and Tonic just having a whale of a time, seeing how far he can, push this creature. You discover that in this universe there is indeed another wormhole, and there is an organisation in an area that calls itself the Alpha Quadrant and the Beta Quadrant. A group called the United Federation of Planets. Now, those of you who are knowledgeable about the other universes, the so-called Prime Universe, and I imagine Davrin would know about this, and probably Tira as well, in case of incursions and stuff like that. And I mean, from a theoretical point of view, I suppose Tonic probably would have thought this is something that could have happened. But you slowly start to get a picture of what's been happening in this area of space. The war with the Dominion, the fact that they got thoroughly trounced towards the end with a genetic weapon, and that the Alpha and Beta Quadrant is pretty much licking their wounds right now. All in all, this is a galaxy prime for being taken over. The creature in front of you is like, please stop. You are... And he says in this another word, he says, you are evil. Why do you do this to me?
Because we can. And I hit the agony field again.
Again, this creature screams in pure agony.
Tolek, do you think you can learn anything more from him?
I am certain that there are unique biological elements in this creature that can be useful.
Okay, sorry, can you just very quickly make a science and insight roll, please?
Gladly.
Yes. And with a 1, because although this is a new type of DNA, this is still xenobiology, so there's certain things that you would know.
Right. Here we go. No, there we go.
Bioweapon specialist, nice.
Yeah, I mean, oh shit.
Yes.
What is going on today?
Hey, it's the mirror universe, things go... Well, technically it's not.
Oh yeah.
This creature's DNA has been messed with, and you can't gain any useful information from this creature. But
Alright.
you do believe that there's quite a few more beings down on this planet below us. In fact, from what you've been able to gather, this planet seems to be almost like a refuge of cast-offs and experiments gone wrong from this dominion. Each creature seems to be not necessarily unique, because obviously every creature does have unique DNA, but everyone does seem to have been tampered with in some way. Some of it quite badly. Others, you could see where they were trying to go, like boosting intelligence, boosting strength and things like that, but for some reason the genetic dice just didn't quite roll correctly.
Does Tolek say that?
No, I'm
With
just
the
saying.
refugees and
I'm just saying that it's a useless sample.
Yeah, this particular one in front of you is not that great.
We should acquire more.
Over the next week or so.
And then perform an autopsy on this
Oh,
one.
these
Yeah,
days.
obviously, yeah.
I like to imagine that as
and
one...
you go on.
Oops, sorry, you went a bit funny there.
Sorry, you cut out.
Yeah, sorry, it's, I think the Discord got a bit funny. I guess.
Okay.
Over the next week or two.
Chris?
Yes?
I would like to dispose of the next target during that week.
So I didn't catch that. It's my...
I want to kill the next target during that week.
Oh, yeah, you can definitely make an attempt.
I wanted to go for the Borg because it's the easier target.
Well, we're supposed to keep that for parts. So
Yeah, the parts.
Oh, you could easily
go ahead.
Well, not to say kill him, but I like to imagine that the Empress has instructed Tira to pretty much take him apart.
Okay.
And I want to do that with the help of the engineering crew and his quarters and some fun with the graviton fields in it.
Ooh, okay, so how are you gonna do this with the? Yes, I just realised what I just said.
Just pull different graviton fields, pulling him literally apart.
So basically, like a sort of
4 horses and 4 ropes.
was it they call it quartering? Is that what they call it? Or was it drawing?
Not quartering.
No, quartering is when you slice them into 4, isn't it? Whatever it is, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So yes, that can be done.
Drawing actually has nothing to do with what you think it does, but that's a conversation for another day.
Yes. Okay, so I think this is probably going to be an engineering one. I'm going to say you can be assisted by the ship for this. I think probably Davin would be the best one to roll for this one.
Sure.
As he's just like you there, yes, go.
You just want me to fail.
You
that's
want
why.
Russ?
Well, if you want somebody to fail today, that would be me.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah,
Remember,
okay,
it's the mirror universe. Everything's flipped around.
Yeah.
So, and I would roll engineering and
So this is going to be. I'm going to say, control for this one because you're finally manipulating gravitons and being sneaky and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm going to say control.
And computers engineering for the ship.
Yes.
does this have anything to do with hacking?
No, this isn't really hacking because it's still. Oh yeah, the engineering crew know exactly what you're talking about,
And they've always wanted to do it.
pretty much within an hour, you get a report back, Davin, that
Captain, there has been an accident on deck 4 with the graviton panels.
Oh dear, was anyone harmed?
Just a little Borg drone that accidentally walked into it by an untraceable call.
Oh dear, what an unfortunate accident.
you see the image that has been put with the data report, and it's pretty much imagine what a Borg would look like with their arms and legs removed.
If only we could preserve this work of art.
Yeah, well, I did send the organic parts to Torlek.
Very good.
Yes. The next few weeks pass not so much uneventfully, but Tira, you find out very quickly that the inhabitants of this planet soon come to dread the sight of the Khan's wrath in orbit and in atmospheric flight. You relish the challenge though, hunting them down, making them fear for their lives, and you start to hear a word that is mentioned every time you and the crew appear. Bendrazi. A few interrogations basically tell you what this word translates to. In essence, it simply means evil, demons, abominations, creatures of darkness to be feared. What we would call demons in this world. That is the translation in theirs. Davrin, in your ready room has a little gift has been left for you. What remains of the previous captain. Still able to hold a conversation and talk, but not able to do anything else. It's pretty much been propped up on the chair in front of you.
I mean, that sounds fun, but only if I have a mute button.
Oh, don't I do? It's I think that Tolic has probably what's the word I'm looking for? Installed a few safety measures rather painfully.
Oh yeah, of course.
Right.
And he tested them.
Oh, of course, they had to be tested first. Yeah. So a few of the crew, a couple of the locals, and
okay. To show his pleasure, Davrin sends Tolek back a rare vintage of some sort of Vulcan liquor.
Ooh, from your private collection. Ooh. So I'm trying to make a drunk Tolek now. It's again the next few weeks or so just pass.
How to kill a founder?
Yeah, I say what does everyone do to keep themselves sort of occupied or to fulfil your mission directive over the next few weeks?
Tolek would like
Tonic.
Okay, well, Tolek would like to. You recall in Deep Space Nine the disease the founders suffered.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Well, Tolek would like to try to engineer such a disease.
Ooh, this is going to be a hard one because that was.
Oh yeah.
Okay, but you've got xenobiology. Do you have anything to do with like genetics or diseases or?
Oh yeah, one of the focus is infectious diseases. That's what he does.
Two focuses then. So I'm trying to work out what the difficulty would be. This would be.
And also virology. So he is able to manipulate viruses.
Okay, so normally it would have been a 5 because this is that was really difficult. So it's going to lower it down. I'm going to say it's going to lower it down to 2.
Okay, I would still like to use momentum because
use as much as you like.
Yeah, then I'll use 2. Thank you.
I'm going to. Oh, this.
Use 3, please.
Okay.
I'm going to.
I think we all want this to be a success.
Yeah, because you don't want that virus getting loose, do you? Ooh,
I mean,
yeah, exactly.
I'm going to say insight on this one.
We all read the
you're trying to create something.
Insight and science or medicine?
I'll leave that up to you. You can either do it from the science side or you can do it from the medical side of things. It's kind of both.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna go with science, just because that's one more point.
Actually, looking at it, I think science is probably more appropriate because you're trying to create something rather than fix something.
Okay, right. So, insight and...
insight and science.
Alright.
And to say, normally it would be a 5, but holy crap.
And now we know how Badger was wiped out.
That's
I have a feeling in our version of we are going to wipe out all changelings ever.
it's
So
Wow.
you're not entirely sure if it was the most excellent Vulcan wine that your captain provided, or if it was just something about this universe in total. But you was hit by an inspiration like you have never had before, and using what can best be described as a mixture of viruses, genetic manipulation, and even a few organ nanites that you forcibly extracted from your little guest. You have come up with a virus that is, if anything, is better than the one used in this universe. That character, you don't know that obviously, but
Yeah.
this is close to your magnum opus. This is borderline a work of art you have created. And oh look, you have a changeling to test it on.
There's a test subject around.
Yes.
Excellent. Well, I'm sure I can administer it somehow.
With that roll, they wouldn't even know you administered it. It's.
I mean, maybe it's airborne.
So I'll leave that up to you. Is it airborne? Is it injected? Is
I mean,
contact?
airborne would be kind of risky if it mutates. To be fair, I don't want to have it loose on the ship. But I do know that they regenerate.
Sort of
So it can be kind of dripped into the bucket.
yeah.
nice, very nice. With the Vorta and Jem'Hadar dead from the Tira's little accident.
Whoops.
Yes. So,
And obviously, we have reassigned some security to replace those.
of course,
Or
yes, you've got to protect your dear and valued guest.
yeah. So they should feel very safe.
Exactly. The guard sees Tonic coming towards the things like, sir, and without saying a word, just steps to one side.
So it just goes in, leaves a very small residue on the bottom of the bucket, and then walks out again.
The guard doesn't even make eye contact, just stares straight ahead. It's like, I shall go back to where I was standing now for some strange reason. Blah blah blah. Like, oh look, this panel over here requires fixing. That's that kind of he.
Yeah, and to just without a word, just in and out.
Okay. Within a few hours, Davin, you get a rather panicked message come through to your private quarters. What have you done to me?
I'm sorry. Are you unwell?
I cannot shapeshift. I am being forced into this solid body. What have you done to me?
That sounds terrible. I will send our doctor to.
No! And you hear this something you never thought you'd hear, a founder panicking.
I assure you that it is nothing, no fault of mine. It sounds like you've contracted some awful side effect of our proximity to this wormhole, or perhaps the Bendrazi bringing aboard. You must let Polek look at you.
Okay. Ooh. Oh dear, this is going to be an interesting one. This is going to be a command and I'm going to say presence roll
Sure thing.
to see if you can convince this rather panicked changeling that you are
Okay.
on the up and up. This is going to be a 2.
Sure. Focus on manipulation.
Okay, yes, drop it down to 1 then. Because you are basically lying for your back teeth here.
Use momentum as you like.
Sure.
We've got tons of it now.
Yeah, I'll use 2. Why not?
Sorry.
Holy mackerel.
We have arrived.
You're right. The changing, as far as you can tell, you're right. I started having problems after we came through the wormhole. My apologies, Captain. I did not mean
No,
to.
I understand how stressful this must be for you. Well, perhaps I don't understand, but I can see that it must be very, very,
Yes,
worrisome.
I will take your advice. I will go and see your doctor. Again,
Please do. He's the best in the biz.
Again, my profound apologies. Found her out. You hear the click.
Sorry, I'm just laughing too much. I can't. Captain John Titola.
Captain.
The founder's coming to see you. She has some sort of unfortunate side effect from our proximity to the wormhole.
Fascinating. I will be sure to give him my full attention. Him.
Please-
Them.
It's them.
Them.
My full attention.
Gender neutral terms for the founders.
Yeah.
Yeah. Please do.
Acknowledge. Todek out.
The founder comes literally stumbling into Tolix. You help me. And
I heard you are feeling unwell.
that is a... What was that word that Andorian used? No, I'm not going to say that. It was disgusting. She's not here, is she? He starts looking around like...
No, Inquisitor Tira is currently not in my laboratory. If you would be so kind as to
Yes. It's like,
lie down.
yes, you're definitely sure she doesn't know I'm here. She scares me. Like, legitimately scares me.
And then he steps behind the glass. And what is your problem?
It's a bit embarrassing, but I can't shapeshift.
And with that, there's actually a very small smile forming on Todek's lips, and he pushes a button and just engages restraints
What the?
that a normal founder would just get out of.
And he's just like, what?
This is for your own safety.
Okay.
You should not hurt yourself. That would be my rule.
Command and presence roll, please. And because Davrin got such an awesome roll earlier, I'm going to say you're going to have it reduced down to 1.
Okay. I would still like to use one momentum because I'm not great at that.
Sure.
I think we can spare it.
Yeah, I think you can spare it.
Yeah, well, just made it.
Yes. Hey. This is going to hurt, isn't it? He looks up at you.
I hope so.
Fantastic. Right, and that's we're just gonna very, very quickly leave it there for the moment, because I say it's not going to be a long episode today. Over the next,
Sorry, while you continue, I just have to go quickly.
okay, no worries. This is just going to be
Couple
a
of
sort of
minutes.
recap of what's going on. In your
Can
life.
Tira do something too?
By all means.
Also too?
By all means.
Yeah, because Tira knows that each society has its criminals, torturers, his scum and villainy. And she also gets way too off of this new reputation, this new power, this new influence over this planet.
Mm-hmm.
So she starts with continuous raiding parties and either recruiting the people down there, calling them the Ice Hounds,
Okay.
or destroying entire villages and cities who don't follow.
There isn't any cities, but because they haven't got that much of a population as such.
Yeah, halt villages, settlements.
Yeah, but there are quite a few like large settlements, which I suppose could be classified as cities as far as they're concerned. It's something else you notice as well is that approximately, and this is something you, Tira, get from your interrogations and inquiries into, shall we say, the local population. The wormhole opens approximately every 6 days. Now, not every time something comes out, but sometimes ships, highly damaged ships, occasionally come out, bit like yours. Sometimes just fragments of ships. Sometimes what can best be described as a kind of space dust. But something gets your attention from what one of the creatures screamed in one of your interrogations. You keep hearing rumours about a planet on not that far from the so-called blue wormhole. You believe it is a planet full of crystals that seem to have rather odd properties.
I relate that information to the science guys while I continue building an army with the concept of raiding a settlement, and the survivors get a chance either joining the Ice Hounds or are going to killed.
So you're basically doing like a Genghis Khan type thing.
The Genghis Khan, Caesar's Legion,
Yeah, gotcha.
take your choice.
It's like join up or die.
Yeah, and like Tira, the goddess of death, and only who follows will be spared.
Nice. I'm going to say it doesn't take that long for, in effect, Tira to pretty much conquer the planet. There's not a huge amount of population on this. There's only probably about sort of 5 or 6 major settlements,
but it's a beginning.
But after raiding the first one and doing the traditional thing of leaving a couple to go tell the others, now the next one puts up a bit of a resistance to you and your crew and your security officers. Now they almost give you something to worry about. Almost. Until
I order an orbital bombardment.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happens. Like, what are you going to do about it? Where we can last here for months. After that bombardment, the mere presence of Tira and her army turning up causes settlements to just surrender. Within weeks, the planet is yours.
Right.
So I was going to say next then. My brain went dead. So it's, for all intents and purposes, you have a new planet for the Empire.
Right. Oh, right. So Davrin wants to go look at this crystal planet.
Oh yeah, we're having a flashback. Well, a callback. Sorry. It takes about a week or so to get to this planet. Tonic, you hear reports from some of the more psionically gifted members of the crew that getting close to this place is uncomfortable. But your sensor readings have indicated that there are incredibly complex and powerful energy sources on this planet. In fact, it's starting to give you a few ideas. Excuse me, I'm sorry, my notes was really itchy. The planet is unremarkable to look at, but your sensors, the Khan's Wrath sensors, can pick up energies. Pretty much the entire planet is paradoxically both active and not active. It is, well, the energy that appears to be coming off of this is just beyond anything any of you have ever seen before. So, over to you.
For Hanno's benefit, we found out about the planet of the crystals.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we are now.
All right.
And we conquered. Bendrazi world.
Well, yeah, obviously.
So I want super weapons, and I want them now. So
I can just like, yes, new weapons, please.
Davrin's also thinking about the possibility of some kind of, well, let's call it a net on this end of a wormhole, because he's thinking ahead at the idea that we could actually rule here, and we wouldn't want any other ships coming through the wormhole from our end actually surviving, but we would like their salvage.
Yeah.
So we could help along the damage of a wormhole by having some kind of weapon at the end of a wormhole.
What probably
Excellent.
our new citizens already are doing, salvaging the part that comes through the wormhole.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Hopefully.
Yes, you've been getting reports of some of the ships and equipment that your new subjects have been building, and
Yes.
these are ugly vessels that they're cobbling together. They're pretty much getting the engines from one, the living quarters from another, the bridge from another ship, and basically just welding them together where they can, like an ugly jigsaw. But it's functional. But they are not pleasant ships to look at. They're borderline offensively ugly. And each ship is different, but at the same time still has roughly the same capabilities. It's as if you got loads of different kids to build Lego cars. You gave them a rough idea of the shape, but each one will be different, but still doing exactly the same.
So Tolek, let's investigate these crystals.
Gladly, Captain.
Yes. Eschewing with normal tradition, the Khan's Wrath quite easily punches through the EM disturbance on the planet. There is plenty of places for a ship the size of the Wrath to land. It's easy enough done. But when you land, you notice something very curious. There's nothing around, just what can best be described as dirt, as small rocks, it's as if this planet has been scoured. But Tolek, you are definitely feeling the presence of an incredible psionic force on this planet. But there's nothing around. You can't see anything. There's no mountains, there's no trees, there's nothing.
Fascinating. I am registering psionic force, but there seems to be no source for it.
Have you scanned below the surface?
I shall do so immediately, Captain.
So yeah, this is going to be a science and where's it gone? Science and insight assisted by the ship's sensors and science.
All right. So no foci here.
Yeah, because the ship's basically landed. It's
Yeah.
Nice.
If somebody could,
Oh yeah, I'm just doing it now.
thank you.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Looks like your captain was right, Tolek. Whilst there's nothing on the surface, you scan a few meters underground, and you can detect that pretty much 90% of this planet is in some way crystalline. It's some shape or form. There are giant clusters, there are small clusters. The giant clusters seem to be, for want of a better term, more stable, more smoother, if that's such a word can apply to crystals, whereas the smaller ones, they are energetic, they are chaotic, and paradoxically they seem to be giving off the most energy.
I share my
Excuse me.
findings with the captain.
You say these have psionic intelligence. They have sentience?
Yes, captain. It is possible.
I don't care, it just interests me. Let's let's bring a few aboard.
Okay, so
Yes, captain.
yeah, I mean, there's very little dirt or rock between the surface and the crystalline structures, and in fact, there's actually two reasonably close to where the raft has been parked. There's a small but still large group of crystals, and nearby appears to be one reasonably large crystal.
Well, let's beam them aboard. Behind the containment field.
Yes, quite. I was about to say.
Which one are you going for first?
I think realistically we're more interested in the energetics, but perhaps we.
Yeah, we should start small and move
Yeah,
up.
it might be a safer bet. So perhaps the large one.
Yeah. So, who's going to operate the transporters?
I can do.
Yeah, go for it.
Is that security role
No,
or an engineering role?
it's going to be control and engineering, whoever rolls for it,
Kira can do that then.
and assisted by the ship's sensors in engineering. And it's going to be a 1 for this one because yeah, there's practically nothing between the cool. Oh yeah, you got a lock on, and yeah, there's a bit of resistance, but yeah, there's now in transporter bay 1, a large, roughly humanoid-sized golden crystal. And it's just sitting there.
Are we beaming now rocks up, Tavern?
Yeah. Sorry. You. What? Andreas. Do you? I didn't really get the context of that. Was that just?
You're saying, are we beaming rocks up now?
Standing at the transporter.
Something like that, Sarah. Yes. If by incredible power source.
Then we should start. If it's anything like the lithium crystals, it's too huge. We have to cut it down.
Well, let's Tolek and I. It's, I'm sure we'll get round to that in the end.
Yeah. It's Tira. Even though it's behind the field, you're definitely feeling like you're being watched. It's your antenna. I mean, they're twitching. They are twitching.
So, well, let's start the investigation into these things.
Oh yeah. I mean, so this thing is sort of, again, it's roughly sort of humanoid size, so it's about sort of 6 foot, 6 foot high and about, I don't know, 3 foot wide, and it's like a sort of golden thing. And Tonic,
One question.
Sure.
Do we have any sonic-based weapons on board?
I was going to go there.
I don't think as standard, no. I imagine that you could probably, if you given time, you probably could come up with a sonic-based weapon of some kind. Reconfigure the agony phases and stuff like that easily, but that will take time. It's not something you can do just like that. It's not a standard sort of bit of equipment.
I set an engineering team apart for that R&D.
Yeah, but I mean, they can do it, but it'll probably take a few days. So
Yeah, just in cases.
Yeah, also, well, part of the trials will definitely be exposing the crystal to different sonic frequencies.
okay, right. This is going to be science and insight for this one again, because this is but your xenobiology doesn't count for this.
Yeah, I know.
This is just too
I
weird.
figure. This would be geology more than anything.
Pretty much. But even though this crystal, you're definitely you're noticing a pattern in the energy that's coming out from it. And this pattern resembles neurological patterns. And as you're going through your experiments and your tests, the vast majority of them don't seem to elicit a change in this pattern. But a couple of them, especially the sonic-based ones, do. And the way the pattern is acting, in normal humanoid, you would say it's in pain.
Excellent.
But still, no outward response. But there's definitely something going on inside it. So, what are you up to?
Well, we need to figure out how we can use this as a power source or way of amplifying effects, right? So,
yeah,
let's start experimenting even further. Who cares about his pain response?
Okay.
Oh yeah, well, Churchill is kind of happy that he elicited that.
Yeah, I mean that's always like a desired result in our experiments, right? You know, that's a success state.
Yeah.
Regardless of the actual objective.
It's the next few days Todd spends with this crystalline creature are definitely most enlightening. If this creature was a humanoid, you would say it is a tough one to crack. It's almost impossible to damage. If you want to damage it, you have to use like your phasers on like the really high setting and tightly focused down as narrow as they can go. It definitely seems to be like there's, as you found out earlier, it's the harmonic frequencies seem to be doing more damage rather than the energy itself. It's basically next to impossible to physically damage this creature. Physically damage it, that is.
Yes. So how about a mental assault?
That is certainly possible.
Sherlock would try that.
Okay. In what sort of way would you be trying to do a mental assault on this creature?
Well, I mean, he does have the mind meld feature as opposed to the other one.
Okay. Right. Before we go back to that, we can go back to Tyr and Davin, find out what they've been up to. Let's start with Tyr this time.
We're still orbiting that crystalline planet, right?
Oh, you're still parked on the crystalline planet and exploring, and you're definitely starting, as you explore further from the ship, you are starting to see sort of crystals, for what's the best expression, poking their heads up from the ground. Like, that's the only way I can really sort of, it's like, you would look and they're not there, then the next thing you would look and, was that crystal there before? But it's like really subtle, like sort of like it's just been uncovered by the dirt or something.
I don't want to play whack the crystal. So I probably do a smart thing for once and start out scouting the surrounding solar systems and try to find out more about this universe's power structures and where to hit, and seek out possible targets to destroy and to acquire into our little army and new empire, wherever it will rule in the end.
The reports you get back from your now, I'm going to say loyal subjects, or at the very least appearing to be loyal subjects, is you get information that although the other side of the wormhole, the blue wormhole that is relatively peaceful, that there is a space station there. One that is not something you want to mess with. Apparently it is well guarded and very well protected. But there are plenty of other targets. A few of these Dominion vessels, this universe's Dominion, skirt the edge of the system that you're in. Nothing appears to be amiss, and these ships, as if they're coming in to check up and go, oh look, they've got some ships, and then they just scootle off. Davin.
With Devrin's permission, I want to plan some hit and run operations against those Dominion ships to see how they would react, how what we could salvage, and especially on data core things.
Davrin authorizes that. He's particularly interested in all that the salvage. So
yeah, the first few, what do you call them, missions. Unfortunately, the Dominion well and truly smacks down any cobbled ship towards them. They are pretty good in terms of their firepower. It's if you want to fight these people, you're going to need something that's got a little bit more oomph to it. And whilst the Khan's Wrath is a powerful ship, it is based on what you've seen, some of the Dominion vessels going up against from your reports. You don't honestly think it could go up against a Dominion warship and survive. Not in its current state, anyway. Davin.
Davrin will. What would Davrin be doing? I think he will probably be working with the engineers to design weapons and other devices to theoretically be combined with these crystals as a power source. So taking every data feed into the system,
so
and pulling it out into devices.
Yeah, I think this is probably going to be a engineering and daring role for this one. It's although if you do have some decent engineers on this ship, they know very well that if this works, you're going to take the credit. But if this fails, they're going to take the punishment. So they are working.
Yeah.
They are working their little butts off to make sure that this works.
Good for them.
Yes. They learn straight away. Do not mess with the captain, otherwise you get a visit from the Inquisitor.
I'm going to spend a couple of momentum.
I'll just sort of picture like Davin just standing going, yes, yeah. Check, move that over there. Right. Now, you'd realise quite early on, unfortunately, that whilst these crystals would definitely enhance the weapons that's operating them, anybody who is near them is pretty much going to be driven mad within a matter of hours, because you have to get the smaller ones. They seem to be the more potent, and in fact the smaller the crystal, the more potent this effect will be. But the weapons will be enhanced in a way you have never seen before. They will take a phaser and not only amplify its damage, but add a psionic element to it as well, destroying the minds and the organic components of anybody unlucky enough to be hit by this weapon.
Cool. So yeah, Davin will be drawing up specs for shipboard cannons, engines, and he's also his pet project. He wants to create a series of, probably he's going to design some small devices to be seeded around the edge of a wormhole, like mines, and basically create a lattice work of energy beams.
So basically anything passing through it, the organic nature will be as if it's hit by these weapons. Ooh.
Exactly, because and then it will just become more salvage, more grist for the men.
Yes, that is something that there's a few gasps, like when you reveal your master plan to the crew. A few of them are like, is he serious? And it's like, yeah.
Tira grins and helps with that weapon design and with tactical and strategic input.
Now, despite a few early, this is where the complication comes in, a few early mishaps, a few of the crew who installed it unfortunately pretty much get their brains and their organic components vaporized when during a test. What do we call this grid system?
The Hellmouth.
The Hellmouth. Excellent. Good choice. What has been dubbed in your records as of the Hellmouth comes online. For a brief moment, the entrance to the red wormhole is lit up like a Christmas tree. Green beams crossing all over the place. And if your calculations are correct, yes, and here comes something through the wormhole. Just on time. It appears to be a older ship with markings that kind of resemble the ship you're in, but oddly don't seem to have it. They seem to have more like I don't appear to have it. Basically, it has the like Federation of Planets symbol, rather than the Terran Universe symbol. But these ships seem old, like 50 years behind even your technology. They seem very, very old. It has long nacelles, a long body, and you can't quite make out what the registration number is of it, but on investigation, the ship, whilst mostly intact, everything on it that's organic has been pretty much reduced to, well, mulch. But the ship itself is mostly intact. Mostly.
Right. A gift for the Mandrazi.
Pretty much. So, we're now going to skip forward another couple of months. Although the Hellmouth worked successfully, getting the enhanced weaponry and engine systems to work proved to be a little bit more troublesome than you first anticipated. It has been advised that you don't install these onto the cards, Ralph. Not yet. So, in a matter of days, your willing slaves on the planet have cobbled together a functional ship. Again, It's that usual mismatch of various vessels using the ship that came through just before the Hellmouth came online as the core base unit. But by the time they finished repairing it, it doesn't look anything like it did before. But it's functional, and it has the enhanced weaponry on board. Tolek,
Yes.
you're, shall we say, patient. Oh, it's probably the best way to describe this one. Your patience
Okay.
is
I'm right back.
is somehow still alive, still solid, but is almost an empty shell mentally, and is just sitting there, their head almost collapsing. Whilst you don't think they're going to die, their brain has pretty much been... They are, as they say, an empty vessel.
Can I get any... well, does a mind melt do anything?
You can do a mind meld if you want to. I imagine over the last period of however long
Oh yeah.
you've been doing mind melds, and as soon as your hand comes towards his face, it immediately twitches.
Okay.
It's as if, you know, like if you've been hurting an animal and you move towards it, it will like twitch and everything. It's actually, just can you make a let's say a science and insight roll? Oh, no, science and insight roll. Yeah, science and insight roll for this one.
Of course.
Yes, science and insight. Excellent. No, that's fine. It's let me see, because this is more whether or not I was going to give you this as a
Okay.
inspiration. Sort of.
Oh, here we go.
Yes. This creature before you is pretty much under your complete control right now. When you mind meld with it, you can, although it's an alien mind to you, you've got used over the last few weeks of figuring out how it ticks, how it works, and you think you may be able to induce shapeshifting in it.
Well, I'm certainly gonna try.
Right. So we can do.
We undid one
How-
creature's ability to shape change. Now we opposite.
This is more. This I will explain afterwards where I'm going with this, but for the meantime,
Okay. So well, let's try. Can
okay, so this one
elicit that reaction?
but this is going to be more of a medicine roll rather than science.
Okay.
Because you're trying to
Sure.
control its body.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be, I would say, medicine and presence, because it's like you're trying to force your mind into his body to take control.
Good. Right. What's the
2.
2? I'm gonna use momentum here.
Yes. Yeah, normally it would be sort of 3 or 4, but oh yeah, you get it back. It's
Oh well.
you're not sure how to explain this, but you do believe that you have complete control over this creature right now, including its shape-shifting abilities.
Okay, let's take it for a test drive.
The manacles ping open.
So what? Can we turn it into a car or something?
Nothing happens. So it's up to you, Tolek. What do you want to do?
Rise.
Well, bear in mind, you're still in touch. You're still having to touch this creature to do this. So
Yeah. Yeah. I want to get it to get up.
it stands up.
It lives. It lives.
Pretty. If you'll pardon the pun, fluidly. Like not like we would stand up and like, oh, we're back type thing. It's like you command it to stand up. It's now suddenly standing up, but it seems to do it in a sort of ripple effect, like its body stretches and moves to stand up rather than actually standing up. the sensation is very weird. It's like if you ever put your hand on like custard or gravy by mistake, it's that weird sort of goopy feel to it.
Right, this is one of the crystalline creatures.
This is one of the this is the founder.
Oh, the founder. Sorry.
Yeah, it was the founder one. So the crystalline creature is. I'll cover that in a second.
Okay.
This is just standing. It's,
command.
you're getting pretty much nothing from this
Okay.
this founder's mind now. It's for all intents and purposes a puppet for your desires.
Can it turn? Well, I'll make it turn into a chair.
You picture a chair in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
It forms into a chair. Nothing fancy. It's the standard chair like the ones in your office.
So the the shapeshifting ability is still intact.
Yes. But the mind has completely gone.
Excellent.
So,
computer, deactivate recording.
Recording deactivated.
I picture Devlin.
There's a slight ripple, and there's a creature standing before you that looks a little bit like Davrin, but isn't a perfect copy.
Ah, okay.
And is butt naked.
I'm not picturing Devlin butt naked, but
Well, maybe.
The evidence appears to be to the contrary.
the only evidence is by the potential secret recordings of the Empress, which might not get through the wormhole. So, well.
It is not a perfect replica. It's,
Well, if I take my hand off, what happens?
It seems to form into a more accurate representation of Davrin, but still a little bit off. And you'd be happy to know that even though the creature before you is butt naked, it is pretty much a Ken doll situation going on down there.
Well, that's interesting.
And it's obviously you know what Davrin looks like underneath his trousers.
It's definitely that can be used, I'm sure. But then I may make it turn back into let it go back into the liquid form.
It immediately just onto the ground.
Well, I assume I have some kind of.
Okay. There's slight retcon then. No, the bucket or a container of some description does that sort of weird snake thing they do into the bucket, and you see that that sort of glowing amber liquid just sort of floating in its bucket.
Oh, this is fascinating.
Okay. So we're gonna
All right.
Again, skip forward a little bit to what would be in the timeline approximately 6 months before the campaign started. The new crystals have been installed in the test ship. Tira, you have located what you believe to be a suitable target, and using your infiltration abilities and sending, I suppose you could call it, the booby trap signal, I suppose you could call it, you eventually managed to lure a Dominion warship.
The crybaby.
To the edge of what is being now referred to as the Bendrazi system. Who is this? You get a message across the comm channels. Speak. Who is this?
We are Bendrazi.
Really? Wow. That's the name you're going by? Incredible. You hear there's a bit of laughter in the background. Like, it's, whilst this is a Dominion warship, it's, you see they are it's being staffed by what are their names? It's the guys with the risk. Is it a Caramel? The ones who do like the trading and things like that for them. The ones that Quark encountered. They got that sort of like that reddish skin type thing. Yeah, and you see them like looking at, really, that's what you call yourselves. And
Fear us. And I give the signal to attack.
The weapon fires off perfectly. Although it does drain pretty much most of the energy from the ship, there's I suppose, a sort of dark purplish energy that lances from this vessel, hitting the Dominion warship. It arcs completely across. There are, in fact, you think one of the nacelles just seems to flicker in and out of power, like as if it's been interfered with in some way. But what pleases you, Tira, is through the open communications channels, is that laughter start to turn to fear, then to terror, then to agony, as you watch before you the being that was laughing at you only moments before, its head starts to grip its head. It's like, God, and then pretty much its head explodes, and then you see the rest of them in the background dying in different ways. Some of them clutching their chest, others just dissolving. It's a messy sight.
And Tira's just grinning very, very satisfied. Almost creepily satisfied.
You see from your reports of the other tactical officers on the ship, Captain Davrin, that for the most part, this ship is now probably 90% intact. The only damage seems to have come.
Excellent.
The only damage seems to have come from the inherent, like the phasers and of the ship. So that's done some damage, yes, but the rest of the ship is pretty much salvageable and usable. Just won't be able to go at full speed for a while.
Right. Well, we take that back with us, definitely. Spoils of war.
Yeah.
I think that should be a gift to our more loyal warlords.
Yes, we'll definitely get in the habit of giving people their own little ships to buy loyalty. That's a good idea.
Yes, I'll say it's the first test was successful. It's over the next few months, the more and more Dominion ships are slowly taken out. There are a couple of ships actually turn up spontaneously. They appear to be ex-Dominion. They have heard that there's a new power in the quadrant, one that can stand up to the Dominion, one that has come along and pretty much punched them in the nose, and they want in.
They are more than welcome.
One of the representatives stands before you now, Captain Davin. So this being is, well, again, roughly humanoid speaking, but is... Now you've been around people for quite a while. This person standing in front of you is terrified. Absolutely terrified of just being in the presence of yourself.
As it should be.
Yes, it's you see he's pretty much doing the old, sort of like tugging on the old forelock type thing. It's we've seen what you can do to the Dominion, and frankly, we don't want to be on your bad side. If there's a choice between you and the Dominion, and he sort of puts his hands up in a fist. Viva Bendrazi.
What can you offer us?
Information. It's not much, but we've recently come through the blue wormhole, and there's something you need to know about what's happening there. Something is...
Come. Stop. In my ready room. Now, and I beckon for him to follow.
Okay. He sort of follows you again, sees what remains of the Borg still there. Like, is that what I think it is?
Yes, this is my friend. 1 of 5.
There's a garbled message, as if his voice circuits have been somehow scrambled.
No, my bad. Unmute. Say hello, 1 of 5.
Stares at you. Greetings are irrelevant.
Mute. That'll do. Now, what is this?
You can see that in his mouth going, and you're pretty sure he's basically made insinuations about your mother.
That's why I muted him quickly. I got the word greetings out of him. That's...
Within moments, Todek and Tira arrive.
Right. Now, what's information from beyond the blue wormhole?
This is going to be weird, but I can tell you that what I'm about to tell you, this is the truth. We was scouting on the other side of the wormhole, and there's you may have heard there's a space station there. They call it Deep Space Nine or something. I don't quite understand it, but that's not the weird thing. And you see he's looking at all 4 of you, especially like the Borg, yourself. And he's like, you're there.
Fascinating.
And you are there, and he basically points at all of you in turn, but it's but it's not you. And there's this ship there. It looks like your ship. But it's not. It's very, very weird. It hurt my brain to think about it, but it's only just arrived a few days ago, and they've. I saw it. I knew about you lot. I knew what you looked like, but when I saw them there, I knew I had to come here. They are like some evil, disgusting clones or copies of you, but they're not the same. And I was hoping that this information would help me and my people to join you.
It is valuable.
So the fledgling does want to follow us, to serve us. You know that I require a blood sacrifice.
And my people will be saved.
If the sacrifice is adequate,
And he stands up and says, I suspected I might have been... This might have been a one-way trip. But if it saves my people... He pulls out a dagger and offers it to Tira. Handle first.
I take the dagger, I take his hand and carve across, cut him into the hand.
As you do that, blood just pours out onto the end. Now, to be fair to this guy, he doesn't break eye contact with you. There is, you can see that he's wincing, but he is not breaking eye contact. But
I put the finger in the wound, and like a baptism, I put over his forehead. Welcome to the Bendrazi. You are safe now. You're one of us.
it's like, and he sort of, for the first time, he now breaks eye contact and looks at his hand, which is still dripping a lot of blood. It's like, my apologies, sir, for this mess. But may I? And he indicates to his hand that it's dripping blood everywhere.
One thing
Yes,
before
sir.
you go. This information that you have shared with us, how many others know it?
So far, just my first officer, and he points to the people in this room.
You are not to share it with anyone. Send in your first officer to talk to us immediately.
Yes, sir. Right away. He sort of taps. It's like, send him across. I'll be beaming back with your permission, Captain, before I faint. And
Off you
immediately
go.
beams over to where his ship is, and in his place, a rather youngish-looking, sort of humanoidish creature. Again, he's got that weird sort of almost primate look to him. So, yes, I take the deal has been successful. And he sort of looks at you quite helpful like that.
Your captain has negotiated on behalf of your people.
Excellent. I assume that went well.
It went well enough,
Good.
but we have learned that you have sensitive information in that little head of yours.
I move slowly around him, still the dagger and the hand.
So, an additional condition for your own safety and welfare within our community.
You hear a small come from him. Because he's heard stories.
Firstly, you must show us your loyalty.
Of course.
Tira, if you can do the honors.
Like,
And while she's going about the business of carving him.
Mhm.
Secondly, you may not speak of the evil versions of us across the world to anyone.
As the cut goes into his arms, he just sort of nodded there because he's trying not to scream out, but unfortunately, if he opens his mouth anymore, he's going to be a scream. He doesn't want to do that. He's thinking, understood.
I'm sure you can understand that knowledge of the pretenders would be upsetting to our citizenship.
Which is why we came to you straight away.
Should I learn that this has become common knowledge among the populace, your captain and yourself will be taking responsibility. You may go.
Understood, sir. Thank you. And then, moments later, just beams off the ship.
I hand over the dagger to Tolek. Tolek, would you please add these genetic samples to Project Purge?
Gladly. Captain, may I offer a suggestion?
Your suggestions are always welcome, Tolek.
I know it is not my usual field of expertise, but should we be able to infiltrate that other ship and take out our mirror versions, we could gain vital information about this.
That sounds like fun.
Perhaps. But as we cannot presently safely traverse the wormhole, let's play a waiting game for now.
Yes, maybe they will come to us.
I think that would probably be a much easier way of replacing them, in any case.
Indeed. I shall return to my laboratory.
Would you please, Tolek, as we three are together now? And he looks thoughtfully at the remains of the board.
Yeah, and as you say that, even though it can't speak, it turns around and looks at you as if to say, "Really, I'm right here."
Wouldn't you say that we carved out a nice little empire here, and it's steadily growing, with each victory? I've been reading up on history, especially how empires are built, and I found something in the Terran Empire database. It's called about some Roman and Roman Empire. Have you ever heard about the concept of a triumvirate?
Ooh.
To be honest, Davin probably has.
I would say this is something that Danfin probably has, but I'm probably thinking of something. Chris, the DM, is probably thinking of something a little bit different. So I'm going to let Andreas explain this one.
Right.
So there were three very powerful people who took over empire after the current emperor was assassinated. His heir and two generals, and it worked really well for some time. Of course, we are more intelligent than some Terran apes. And the Empress cannot get us here. We have an entire universe to our own to conquer. Let us conquer together and rule it together. I have my loyal warlords. Tolek has his little playthings in his laboratory. And Devran, you have, let's say, the political influence over everyone. As we could do marvelous things here together if we rule together.
I just imagine everyone's just like.
We're all sort of doing that thing. Our dies are darting.
I would say this is probably where I'm going to say that in the episode. It's the sort of just looking between all three of you, all three characters, just looking at each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like sort of squinty-eyed, going, like, what are they thinking?
So that Chris can decide the turnout of that.
Pretty much, yeah. But it's also to say that this was going to be a short one today because I'm just feeling a bit rough. But that's basically the Mirror Universe counterparts now caught up with the official timeline.
Can I make a suggestion?
You certainly can.
That the official greeting of the Bendrazi is truly that we are Bendrazi, fear us.
I would imagine that would be probably the like an Andorian version of that or something. But yeah, I say it's a bit of a short episode today because I say we're all really tired and I'm just not in a good. My brain's messing up tomorrow. I mentioned earlier, I mentioned to these guys earlier that I'm probably not going to be streaming tomorrow because of this. I'm just been in a bit of a sort of rough place at the moment. Not nothing bad. It's just one of those seasonal things. No, not enough sunlight. Yay, Britain! So it's made my should we say concentration and moods go really south. So it's tomorrow. There won't be a stream. I'm going to basically take it as a mental health day. But today we are now fully caught up. Everything is back to, I'm going to say, normal with regards to how timelines go. I'm just going to very quickly read the chat. Where is it? Oh yeah. Oh, Ace of Thorns resubscribed for 8 months. Thank you. It's
Thank you.
straight up yard,
Thank
creepy
you.
as fuck. Yes, it's I bet you've been trying that and you're going, justice reigns from above. Oh god, yeah, Overwatch. Yeah, just to say, I am going to be playing Overwatch on Monday because it's a nice easy game to sort of ease me back into things, and also one of my mods, it's his birthday, so we're going to have like a sort of just joke mess around stream, and with Overwatch being dirt cheap, a few of us have got it, so we're going to just have a little mess around. In the meantime, thank you all for joining me tonight. Again, I apologise for it being short, but it was a choice between that or no stream at all, and I thought, no, that'd be a bit of a dick move if I didn't do something tonight. So I thought, better something than nothing. Won't be a stream next week. Obviously, with the run up to Christmas as well, things are going to be a bit hairy, but we'll play it by ear. And now just follow me on Twitter, and you'll find out what's going on. So again, thank you all, and peace and long life.
Live long and prosper.
Live
Good
long
night
and
and good luck.
Right, and I will